Hi guys, welcome to another Hadley video. In this one I wanted to just have a look at the abilities for the human kineticist. I can't show any footage at the moment because basically I've got a bit of a bad ping at the moment and I don't want to ruin the gameplay of anyone else in multiplayer. Let's put it that way. So without any further ado, we've got pull. Rank 1, we've got duration 5 seconds, recharge time 10 seconds. Increase that to rank 2, you've got 20% recharge speed on that. Rank 3 adds 40% duration. At rank 4, you can either go for extra duration, an extra 50%, or you can go for radius, which brings it to a 4 meter radius, so you can pull, well, more enemies, as long as they're within that range. At rank 5, the top evolution is Crushing Grip, and as you can see, adds an extra 35 damage per second, as long as you're holding them in the air. If you plan on doing a lot of combos, or if you think your team is going to be having a lot of combos going off, I'm not so sure that Crushing Grip is the best option, to be honest. The other option is Expose. Affected targets take more damage from all sources, so that'll be damage from weapons, that'll be damage from biotics. Hopefully that will also combine with biotic explosions or combos. So that would probably be the better option in my opinion. Rank 6. This is a little bit of a tough one. Drains enemy shields on initial hit, but targets whose shields endure still cannot be lifted or held. And as you can see, shield damage bonus 600. Obviously with power amps and stuff you can increase that amount, but still I'm not sure that's the one. This one really sounded interesting to me. Restores shields while pull is maintained to hold an enemy. So as long as you're holding that enemy, like they're showing in this animation, you're draining shields 10% per second. Who needs a little rodent? Yeah, Volus. I must admit there are other characters that do have shield restore, and they provide it for the whole team or those within a radius. But you know, if you're caught out in the open on your own, this could be quite viable. The shields, as I say, it is a hard choice. Draining enemy shields could be very bloody useful, and may even prove to be the better option. But if you're planning on running alone, or doing anything solo, and you want to keep this character as your fun solo character, the drain is probably the option. Yeah, time will tell. So, moving along swiftly, we have Throw. So, rank 1, we've got a force of 800, a damage on world collision of 225, so any objects that the enemy hits on their little journey around the map, that's going to give them 225 damage. Nice. And recharge time of 10 seconds initially. Rank 2 increases the recharge speed by 10%. Rank 3, damage and force, so 20% to all damage, 20% to all force, so they fly away faster and they hit things harder. I'll let someone else do the numbers, but 225 plus an extra 20%, it's not huge, but hey, tell you what I can get, eh? So here are the top evolution of rank 4. We've got damage and force. Again, it adds an extra 30% all damage and an extra 30% all force, adding on to that initial 20%, or well, adding on to the 20% and then adding on to the initial amounts here. That's it. That's awesome. That really is. Or you can increase the radius. Now, I imagine that plus the pull, that would just be excellent. You pull two enemies, you throw them both off the map. Human Kineticist is looking fucking awesome, to be honest. Duration, 400% duration. I don't quite get this one. You know, what, you throw them for longer? To me, that seems a bit of a waste. Recharge speed, though, an extra 25%. Awesome. Here at rank 6, top evolution, launches 2 projectiles that seek separate targets. Now, I don't know how wide that goes. I mean, the animation's still from the earlier evolution, so I imagine that it should prove really good. And if you've got the radius, I don't know if that would mean, you know, you could throw 4, possibly even a few more. Sounds good. It really does sound good. The other option is swift detonation. 30% combo detonation damage. I didn't say it was an easy choice. Plus an extra 25% recharge speed. You're going to be throwing out throws. Well, throwing your throw like nobody's business. Hard choice there. Next up, Lance. Now, I told you earlier that I haven't really gotten into Lance. I did have a quick look earlier, and it does sound like it should be an excellent little skill. Devastates a small area with a swiftly thrown shaft of energy. Inflicts bonus damage against enemy weak points, such as heads, and detonates combo primers. Now, in my other video on the Human Kineticist, I hadn't read that, or at least I didn't remember it. So not only do you have throw that detonates, but you have this awesome lance as well. As you can see here, initial damage 320, force of 400, impact radius of 1, I gather that's 1 meter, and recharge time of 10 seconds. Rank 2 increases recharge speed by 10%. Rank 3 gives you extra damage and force of 15% each. Sorry. The top evolution of rank 4 gives you damage and force, 20% each. And the bottom evolution gives you an extra 100% damage radius. My maths is fairly bad, but I believe that's 2 meters. I don't think that's 10 meters. Yeah, either or. That's still not too bad. The damage, though, is still on the low side, even with the extra 15%. If you add in the extra 20% on top, it starts to become fairly good. Right. Rank 5, top evolution, we've got Focused Blast. So, increases bonus damage against heads and other weak points. So, an extra 25% headshot weak point bonus. Now, here it mentions just headshot. It does say weak point, but I'm not quite sure where the other weak points are, to be honest. The bottom evolution is the one that's more interesting to me. 25% damage versus shields. I I remember in Mass Effect 3, anything that gave you damage against shields or armor was a big deal. So, rank 6, we've got Knockdown. Enemies within 1.5 meters of the blast's impact are knocked to the ground. Only unarmored, unshielded, normal-sized enemies are affected. Not fantastic. So I haven't seen it on silver or on gold. On bronze, certainly, there aren't. Most of the enemies that you do see are unshielded and unarmored. So on the face of it, that's quite good. But I imagine that in silver and more than likely in gold, you're going to see a lot more shields and armor coming towards you. Not fantastic, to be honest. Not to me. This one sounds good. Lance has no recharge time, but it consumes shields when used. And shield cost of 0.5. I don't know if that's 0.5% or I'd very much doubt it's 0.5%. What makes it really interesting is if you randomly see that someone else has thrown out a warp or singularity or something like that, you can detonate that straight away. Add to that, you know, if you've got the bonus of 25% damage versus shields, that's quite a handy little combo to have. Moving on to Biotic Ascension. Now, this is the one where I mentioned in the other video about her charges, her ascension. Well, yeah, it's listed here, ascension. Accumulate charges by killing enemies. Hold the melee button down to consume all charges and activate Biotic Ascension. While ascended, all powers will consume shields, but will have no recharge time. Ascension ends when shields drop. So if you're lucky enough to have a Solarian or Angaran, whichever, that happens to have the shield recharge, I can see that being fairly, I hate to say it, awesome. So, rank 1, charges required to ascend 6, plus 100 damage resistance while ascended. That, on the face of it, sounds excellent. And charges required to ascend 6, I gather that is 6 kills. I'm fairly sure I'm right in saying that. To me, that sounds like an excellent ability. I've only used it a couple of times, and you know, just being able to hammer out, pull and throw, it was fun. It really was. Moving on, rank 2, Biotics. 15% power damage, 15% power force. That's to all of your Biotics. Rank 3, improved electrical charge. So it takes 5 charges to ascend now. At rank 4, you have the choice of power, which gives you an extra 15% power damage and power force. The second evolution, or bottom evolution, whichever you want to call it, adds duration. So an extra 35% to all power effect durations. Now, if you remember, I believe it was in Throw. Yeah, this one, an extra 400% duration. To me, that's a bit too long to be throwing enemies around. So recharge speed coupled with the extra duration, if you really want. For me, I would probably go with the power. Always nice to have your Biotics do more. Moving on, rank 5. The top evolution is exposure. Affecting enemies with Biotics now causes them to take increased damage from all sources. So if you've got an enemy that uses biotics, they take more damage. Their defense debuff from biotic effects is 20%. I think I would be right in saying that the goldy floaty guy that, well, floats around with a big shield around him and a little ball that circles him, I imagine he's biotic. From his effects and stuff, I'm pretty sure he's biotic. So an extra 20% damage to someone like him would be excellent. The trade-off, though, would be not having combo detonation. 30% all combo damage, 30% all combo radiuses. Note that it says all. So if you use your lance to trigger an incinerate tech combo, bonus damage, bonus radius. Not just biotic, tech as well. That sounds, I hate to repeat myself, but pretty fucking awesome. Rank 6, we have Devastating Ascension, an extra 25% power damage while ascended, an extra 25% power force while ascended. Sounds brilliant. The other one is Efficient Ascension. So one less, that would, if you coupled that with, oh well, it would be coupled with that one automatically. I don't think there was another one, was there? No. So coupled with that, that would mean you only need 4 kills to ascend, and a 30% power shield cost reduction while ascended. So any powers used while you're ascended cost 30% less than earlier on, or if you've gone with Devastating Ascension. On the face of it, to me, Devastating Ascension wins out. The 25% damage and the 25% force. Yeah, for me that sounds a lot better. Especially if you consider was it not? Oh no, it was pull, wasn't it? If you pull an enemy and keep them close to you, you're recharging your shield. And you're turning around, hitting everything else with throw or lance, whichever you decide to go with. Coupled with the fact that you're ascended at the time and you can just throw it out like nobody's business. I am getting pictures of a biotic god just raining havoc. No, seriously, I'm getting visions of bam, bam, bam. All your teammates just seeing enemies just flying across the screen. That's yeah, I'm looking forward to in a couple of days when I can actually play her in multiplayer. Last but not least, we come to Barrier. So, uses biotic abilities to augment standard kinetic barriers. One thing I just wanted to point out is when you first unlock her, you get rank 1 pull, throw and lance like all of the other characters. Biotic Ascension and Barrier are empty. So you have to make the choice, and it's I haven't got any characters up to max, so I've got no idea. It's probably going to be like Mass Effect 3, where you could have 4 full and 1 empty, or you could have 3 full, 1 up to rank 5, and the other one up to rank 3, I think it was. So, choices. Back to barrier. Uses biotic abilities to augment standard kinetic barriers. So, rank 1 gives you an extra 25% shields. Rank 2, an extra 25% shield regen, an extra 25% health and shield regen delay reduction. So the amount of time that you wait before your shields start regenerating is decreased by 25%. Rank 3, an extra 30% melee damage. Top evolution of rank 4, unyielding barrier, an extra 30% shields, always nice. The bottom evolution, recuperative barrier, an extra 30% health and shield regen delay reduction. So coupled with that one, I think it was, yep. So that would give you 60%. That's quite a reduction, to be honest. And 30% shield regen. So it regens faster. I'm not sure if that... I'm not too sure if the rank 2 would be enough to negate having the recuperative, or whether it might be best to have the recuperative as well rather than the extra 30%. Well, I'll find out soon enough. Rank 5, we have Biotic Link. Increases maximum shields while at least one biotic effect is active on an enemy. So going back to while you're ascended, you're pulling an enemy to drain their shields if you've gone for that evolution. And this is increasing the maximum shields you have while you're holding them. Max shields with an active biotic effect 40%. That's fairly good if you're talking in conjunction with an extra 30% max shields. Awesome. The lower evolution barrier drain partially restores shields with each successful melee attack. Do note melee. Nah, I'm not sure I like that. Shields restored by melee 20%. On the face of it, that's good. 5 quick melee hits and your shield is fully restored. Sounds brilliant. Plus you do an extra 50% melee damage. Oh, that's going to be a hard choice. I probably would actually go with barrier drain. I don't know. I really don't know. Because if you're going to be pulling people to recharge shields, this would be the option. If you're not, that would be great, I think. Anyway, rank 6, active barrier. Partially restores shields after taking down an enemy with a biotic power. Affects all allies within 6 meters. Wow. Now, is that allies within 6 meters of you, or is that allies within 6 meters of the enemy? I wish there was a bit more info on that, because that really sounds awesome. Every Biotic kill gives your allies 10% of their shields back. Okay, saving barrier. Reacts to low health by automatically restoring shields to full strength. Am I reading this right? Once every 10 seconds? You gotta be joking. Shields restored at low health 100%. Low health threshold is 25%. So as soon as you hit 25% health, your shields instantly get restored, and every 10 seconds consequently they get restored. If you're... Where is it? There. If you're adding it to the extra 30% there, and an extra 25 there... Wow. I mean, I hadn't actually looked at all of her abilities and stuff properly before. I mean, during the 10-hour trial, I just wanted to play. Do you know what I mean? Looking at all of her fucking abilities is just like, wow. I think for me, I'd be most tempted to do without Lance at all, and just put everything into pull, throw, ascension, and barriers. Oh, she is amazing. I really must say, absolutely amazing. I don't think I can show off any of those. So, initial unlock, you get colour tint 1, colour tint 2. Not much going with there. Colours. Just in case you're wondering which one is which. All the red lines, or red bits. And colour tint 2, I've made black. As you can see, that's weird. I thought it was... Yeah, it was. So, yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, the only other things is what weapons I'm using personally. Here we've got consumables. I don't like the interface. I really must say I really, really dislike the way they've done this. And it annoys me having these little markers. At least it doesn't show here that, oh, you've got something new. Yeah, I bought a 5,000 credit multiplayer box to try and get rid of all of the easy unlocks first. I don't need to be notified that, you know, I've got a new Cyclonic Mod 3, new Cyclonic Mod 4. But yeah, cheers EA for making it a lot more awkward than it really needed to be. I much preferred the old interface. It just seemed easier. I mean, I understand that they've made this for all games now are for console near enough. So, just learn to live with it, I suppose. But I think I'm going to end off here. I have loved my time with her so far. If you haven't already, check out my other video where you actually get to see some gameplay of her early on. She was really fun to play. You know, pulling enemies, throwing them off of the map. That's awesome. That is awesome. And imagining her fully evolved, draining shields, replenishing your team's shields, pulling 2 or 3 enemies and throwing 2 or 3 enemies, while also draining shields and replenishing yours, or, you know, replenishing the team, whichever. And then if you haven't gone for replenishing your team's shields, you know, play the hero. You know, all your teammates have gone down. You're down to 25% health. And in the back of your mind, it just sort of triggers, every 10 seconds my shields are fully restored. Sweet. Anyway, I'm going to leave it off here. If you have managed to watch the whole thing, thank you very much. As ever, good luck. Take care.